Welcome to the growth series. So today we're going to be discussing B2B customer acquisition strategy, and we're going to be, drilling down on how to acquire B2B customers in 2025. I'm your host for today, Jegede Oluwakayode, founder and CEO at Advantar. And I'm joined by Mr. Gerald Konwea. He is the CEO of Spotter, right? So a quick introduction into what I do. My name is Jegede Oluwakayode, like I mentioned earlier, and I am the founder and CEO of Advantar. Over the last 6-7 years, I've worked with a couple of brands like Access Bank, MTN, DSTV Money Africa, Adverse. Also, I've managed 500 million naira. Now, this is naira in ad spend, and I've generated over 200,000 leads for my clients over the last 7 years. Been featured on multiple publications like Vanguard, Punch, Business Day, and finally, and most importantly, I run a growth and media agency with 7+ employees, and we're currently scaling globally, right? So for Advantar, we are a growth and media agency. We've worked with clients like Zebed, Shades of Life, Adverse, Debt Recover, Pepsan, which is the largest and only fertilizer association in Nigeria, and also SNS, Stephanie Nicholas Solution. We're also currently partnered with the best companies to make sure that we're delivering value for our clients. We're partnered with Reddit, we're partnered with Paystack, Meta, Google Ads, Zoho, and legit.ng. Today, I have two gifts for all participants. So if you have somebody that you know that signed up to attend this webinar, please do them a good solid one and tell them to join. We've started already. Before the end of this webinar, I'm going to be sharing two very special gifts, but that would come at the end. So please do well to stay to the end of the webinar. So like I said, today we're going to be discussing B2B acquisition strategy. We're going to really discuss how to acquire, B2B customers in 2025. So I'm going to be introducing my guests right now. His name is Gerald. He's a relentless, passionate, CEO, he's an entrepreneur. And like I said, he has a relentless passion for African businesses. And this is very, very evident in the work and the experiences he has actually, acquired over time. He has worked on a couple of e-commerce businesses, and he's been able to enable SMEs to actually run, right? After graduating with honors from Lincoln University, Masters of Science in Finance and Administration, Gerald left the United States in 2013 to co-pioneer Nigeria e-commerce economy alongside Jumia, Konga, and now he runs Spotter, the world's most advanced e-commerce app, right? So thank you so much for joining us, Gerald. Hello, can you hear me, Gerald? Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you so much, Kayode. Good evening.
Awesome.
Good evening, Advantar.
Yes.
Good evening, our guests. I see we have 21 participants, including myself, and I think 2 Advantar team members.
Yep.
Everyone. Kayode, I don't think I'm very happy because you have gifts, and I'm not sure that I think I'm also in the pool for the gifts. Maybe I'm
For
in
the
the pool.
gift. Interesting. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I would expect that you would have kept a special gift for your co-host, eh? But anyway, it's good to be on this
Awesome.
call. I'm hoping that I would add value to the growth series, and that those who are listening in this evening would get value from all, I would say.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for joining in. So I would actually like to start from, getting an insight into you, right? So, who is Gerald, and what have you done?
Um, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I actually didn't want to work, never wanted to, fought rebelliously to never answer to any person. And one of the reasons why I made sure I didn't work for anyone was because I've always just packed all these ideas in my head, and I thought that getting straight at them would be the best way to live a life of purpose. Like you said, I've pursued helping African businesses. Obviously,
Mhm.
Nigeria is my sandbox, and I've done that my whole adult life. Co-pioneered Nigeria's e-commerce space alongside Jumia and Konga. Failed on that one. I've worked with governments, state governments, Cross River State, Nasarawa State governments, for to develop strategies that would help generate IGR, and most of those strategies are related to SMEs. I've also worked with the ECOWAS and regional African governments, still on SMEs as well. And I have built 6 companies in my portfolio.
Wow,
3 of them are active, but
six.
the 6. The latest is Spotter. Spotter is B2B2C. I'm sure that's the reason why
Mm-hmm.
uh, you identified me as a worthy co-host. Like you said, we like to call Spotter the most advanced e-commerce app today. Uh, uh, we've only had our soft launch. We've been building, but in the next 2 weeks, max 3 weeks, first week of December, I'm sure that almost all the participants in this meeting today would be in their faces. I'm also a growth marketer like yourself. So trust me when I say that we would be in people's faces beginning first week of December. So that's me, Kayode.
Awesome, awesome. So, you mentioned you have actually built six components. Can you name, say, two, three, the ones that are active?
Click It is active. I've mentioned Spotter, obviously.
Yes.
Click It is active. Click It is management consulting firm. What we do is um, mostly growth marketing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Specialize in SEO. Um, we also have we do all them tech stuff as well. Build websites, apps. Also IT certified. So we also help with setting up network infrastructure for organizations. We also have Layover. Layover is active. Layover is more of a travel and destinations company. That one is
Mm-hmm.
active as well. And then there are other subsidiaries, but these ones are more Smart Business Hub, for instance, where we incubate and accelerate small business owners. At the Smart Business Hub, what we do is we gamify the whole experience. So we give you
Mm-hmm.
tasks, which are milestones. You cross those tasks, then we'll give you rewards like giving you a website or incorporating your business if you haven't, and a lot like that. I have a published course on business and entrepreneurship, actually the highest rated on Udemy right now.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
there,
I saw
yeah,
that.
then there is um the discounts marketplace. That one works closely with the Smart Business Hub, where small business owners get discounts on all their business needs. So you're trying to set up a business, you go to the discounts marketplace, you get business registration for a discounted price. You get what do you call it? Anything website for a discounted price. You already get a discounted pricing from when you're a member of the Smart Business Hub, but you get further
Mm-hmm.
pricing from the DMP. So these ones are active. I had a 8 hectares farm that I'm still active, but I'm pulling out, actually trying to get the land out of my hands because it's not in around my location. So I've not
Okay.
handled it properly. So yeah, so I'm actually the definition of a serial entrepreneur. Been there,
Yeah,
done that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Been there, done that. Awesome, awesome. So I understand that Spotter is B2B to C. right?
Yes.
Can you first of all explain how Portal works, and then explain the concept between B2B to C?
Yes. All right. So Spotter really is an e-commerce site, in a platform rather, in every sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
We would prefer to call it a lifestyle application. But what Spotter helps you to do is, Spotter helps you to find where to go, what to do, what to buy, really efficiently, twice as fast, and helping you find all this stuff or make your decision for authentic products, right? On the other hand, if we were to describe Spotter to the businesses that we created, well, Spotter is created for the consumer, but the businesses that actually give us the big bucks, if we're talking to them, that's the FMCGs, and then the consumers as well, we would say Spotter helps you to find authentic products and services so that you don't, nobody has to suffer from consuming a fake product ever again. And that is how we
Oh,
build the app with consumer in mind. Now, why is Spotter B2B2C? Spotter is
yeah.
B2B2C because we are making it better and easier for the consumer, making it easier for the consumers to find products and making the experiences better. However, because they are the ones we made our promise to. However, we are doing that through working collaboratively with the brands, right, that would serve the consumer. So we actually sell our products and services to the brands. That's the B2B end of things. But now the brands obviously have to connect to the consumers or sell to the consumers, and that is what completes the to C part, right? And then if you look at it in every sense of the word, we've actually built the app for the consumers, but we are getting to the consumers through the brand. So yeah, B2B2C connection established.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, this is quite different from the way we've already used to it, B2B. And so there was a time I was actually the last intenderness event where we actually met.
Yes.
Um, you mentioned something that's pretty interesting, and I actually forgot to ask you. So somebody was talking about B2B, right? And I think he was talking about how to build a brand that people will really recognize, and a relatable brand. But the sad part is it's B2B. And then you mentioned something that at the core of B2B is actually H to H, right? So I'd love to hear your thought on that. What exactly do you mean by H to H?
Can you, sorry, I lost you for some seconds. Can you just go again?
Okay. Yeah. So I said in the internet's event where we actually met, somebody was asking. I mean, the internet event is a very small gathering of entrepreneurs, founders, and professionals doing amazing things, right? So that's where we actually met, and somebody was asking a question around how to build a relatable brand, but he's now asking from a B2B angle. So he's saying, oh, his business is actually B2B. So he's trying to make sure that he actually built a brand that people love, right? And then he's asking how is that done? So you mentioned something that at the core of B2B is actually H to H, right? So I want to hear your thoughts on H to H. What do you mean by H to H?
Okay. So H to H really is human to human, right?
Awesome.
Not a very popular concept, but it's something that is
Mhm.
gaining grounds in the business world, right? And really what H to H is saying is that brands should begin to build customer relationships that feel more human and personal instead of treating your customers as generic market segments, right? And I
Mhm.
would understand, or I do understand, but I want those who are listening in to understand why this concept exists, right? So many times when we talk about user profile, user persona, and all that stuff, right? Especially now the days of AI, when it's easy for you to just go ask ChatGPT about your consumers or the customer profile, right? H2H really is saying we want those who are proposing or who are driving the idea, what they're saying really is you may want to begin to look deeper and connect deeply. Those who know about account-based marketing, it's actually a lot closer to it, right? Where we are not seeing the business, right? In the business in the B2B, that I'm talking about now, the other side of the B, right? You are the first B, your client is the second B. So we're saying we want you to see it as a B2H, right? Not a business to business, but a business to human, because those who you are talking to, those you are trying to target are human beings. And there are so many cultural contexts, organizational cultures, and different things that might make your marketing to feel generic, right? And these may be the reasons why your marketing is not effective, right? Or why you're not targeting them correctly. So I know you've told me that we might have a lot of questions to go over this evening, so I'll try to keep the questions short. If people want me to take any concepts again, then I will jump back at it. But I hope that the H2H is clear.
H2H, awesome. So basically, H2H is we're actually thinking of our business as an interaction with customers with humans by humans, right? Like in a very
Exactly. Yeah. Human to human. Yeah.
Awesome. So over the last, couple of years, we've actually seen the B2B space actually change. The way people are now sort of buying products, the way organizations are buying, say, softwares, for instance, and using all of these products, the way they're getting convinced, their sales cycle, everything is changing, right? So for you, what do you think is the biggest change you have seen in B2B?
I mean, these changes are when we have these kinds of conversations, right? It might look like these changes have been what they call it, have been loud, or they've happened instantly or instantaneously, right? But one of the things that I'd like people to realize and understand is these changes actually, happen over time, and you hardly get to notice. Can anybody hear me? Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you 100%.
Okay, all right. These changes happen in a way that you barely notice, right? Many of them are cultural, and then let us also remember that as I talk today, I'll be bouncing back and forth, local context, right, and the global context. I'll try as much as possible to say them or point them out as I talk, right? So anyway, what I'm trying to say is most of these things happen over time in ways that may not seem very obvious, right? But what we've seen in this part and even globally is that businesses are now beginning, just like the H2H that you said, right? And it was good we even had that before this question. We've started to see businesses begin to realize that in targeting other brands, they need to begin to account for those cultural contexts, organizational contexts, right? And not have generic marketing. In the world of AI, it might look like these campaigns are being more generic, especially when you engage an AI type video or visual. However, we are noticing brands, especially bigger brands, or let's say in the startup context, brands that have seen some form of funding and they can afford to have a dedicated team, right? So we're beginning to see AI, for instance, play a role in helping brands customize messaging for audiences in a way that it connects deeply. In fact, I actually was talking with a friend or having a conversation with a friend recently, and I realized that they actually had a marketing. They actually had for a particular marketing campaign, right? Or would I say customer acquisition campaign? They actually had marketing materials or sales materials or pitches for each organization, and they were targeting over 200 of them, and it's a Nigerian brand, right? Right. So you can imagine the scale at which that's
Yeah.
exactly. So like I said, most of the changes are obviously coming off of the coming off of the options that are available to businesses, because when you're targeting brands, you need to remember that other brands are targeting them as well, right? And there is now sophistication in marketing. A lot of brands are also looking at things like sustainability, right? Or even hybrid experiences, right? That would help them maybe even cut costs, right? So if you are trying to target businesses, as a business in 2025, you want to really, really do your research. And back in the day, we knew that we had to do our research to target clients. But now you really want to go deeper, and like the H2H says or said, you want to really, really go deep, so that you are talking to a human, right? You are talking to someone who is aware that he has options, someone who is aware that there are other people who are answering questions around sustainability, around cross-platform optimizations and stuff like that. So, like I said, just it's a lot I can say on that, but I wanted to just keep it brief. I have my notes. I'm trying not so, so hard not to trying so hard not to also look in there, just to make the conversation relatable and conversational. But yeah, I hope that I've been able to drive the point. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So I mean, we have to do a lot more research when going forward in 2025. Just like Gerald has said, I think the most important thing is that, like you said, research is really, really important, and we must actually have it at the top of our minds that we're actually talking to E5. Now that we understand that B2B is actually changing, right? Do you think that a lot of businesses would actually lose um, revenue? Let me use the word revenue, because I mean, I think that a lot of businesses, especially in Nigeria, they're actually lagging behind. What do you think about this?
You are right. But then again, I won't blame the businesses, because I'm a business owner, right?
Yeah.
There is a funding drought, even when funding peaked in 2021 and 2022, before it started to decline. We still weren't seeing businesses get access to the funding they needed to run operations like their global counterparts, right? But yes, there would be so I mean, there is really no. So the company I mentioned, I won't call the name. They've raised 2 rounds of funding, and a very significant round, right? So they can afford to have a sales team that can go the whole 9 yards, right? But for a lot of businesses who do not have that war chest, or that resource, those kinds of resources, you will find that they will not be able to meet their sales targets. And I'm sure your question is for the first B, right? As a business, those businesses who are trying to
Yes.
get
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
right. So, and then if we're not able to, just like my previous answer said, if you're not pitching your target, your customer, right,
Mm.
in a way that you are answering all these questions at the same, on the go, on the fly, then you are losing to the competitor, and that competitor may have the arsenal or even the network, because one of the things that we need to also realize is, things happen because of networks, right? Nigeria, who right, has been abused. It looks more like just knowing rich people, or those in power. But the real context, right, for who is more of who can open doors for you, and we see that play out a lot of times, for with marketers and sales, right, when you're trying to pitch brands. So first of all, you are not as what do you call it, detailed as your competitor who has the resources, and then your competitor can afford to, even if they miss it the first time, make a few calls, find some other person who can talk to some other person at this brand, maybe even come with a gift, right? I see many, but back in the day, the moment there is a new government change, you see the Zenith staff that are running everywhere, helter skelter with hampers, right? I wish I didn't call the name. I hope this won't be published on. It will, but it doesn't even matter. Let them come and tell me that I said it wrong. I actually said it right. Anyway, you see the big brands running helter skelter with hampers, right? Trying to get the new guys in power, right? To use their bank. And the same thing happens with big brands, when they want to target, they have those things, you are going working in someone's office, you have a hamper, have all those. Nowadays, I see all these when they want to invite people to an event, they put all these nice boxes and champagne. Yeah, you don't have all that, and your marketing, your research is not deep, my brother. You would lose revenue because you won't meet your sales targets. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's it.
interesting. Awesome. So there are, I think, three major things I want us to talk on this evening. The first would be um, the campaign itself and the campaign concept, right? And then AI. Then I also want us to talk about the creative. But before we go into all of those, do you think that revenue is really businesses should actually be focused on whenever they're in 2025?
Um,
Revenue is should it be like the top and the most important thing?
Um, I mean, if we're being honest, bottom line, right? However, businesses get it wrong when they put that in front of customers. See, listen, people do business with those who they know, like, and trust, right? If your business, if you don't know someone, if you are first of all cold calling or reaching out to people on LinkedIn, I don't think it is good practice for you to put a paywall for people to use your product, right? Um, Businesses make that mistake all the time when they're trying to reach out and they ask, okay, so what would it cost to use this product? If you ask me that question, I'd say, oh no, I'm trying to get you in the product for free, right? And then the person will then on their own, and it happens all the time, right? I want you guys to take note. The person will then on their own say, okay, yes, you want me to use it for free, but there would be a charge. Yeah, so I'm like, yes, somewhere down the line, but why don't you use the product first and see how it works, see if it meets your needs, and then we can even get our engineers can get to customize. Even if I don't have any plans to get my engineers to customize, right? What you've done is, in transactional conversations, right? Sometimes try to make the next person tell you that they know you're going to charge them, right? um so I see a lot of brands making that mistake and that is because they focus heavily on their revenue targets, right?
Yeah.
Now, for Spotter, for instance, I am mindful of my revenue, but what I've done is, or what I do with my brands is, I look at my runway and I'm like, okay, this money I have in hand, or maybe that I don't even have in hand, right? What would be the best way to deploy my capital, right? And this is obviously, in the beginning phases of a project. So let's say I'm still building or developing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I look at it and I say, okay, this money will last me 6 months, and then I'm thinking, which is the best 6 months to deploy this capital to, right? Would it be the beginning 6 months? And I'm not talking about my development funds, but let us even assume you have 100 naira to build a business, right? You could then split it into marketing, development, and operations, for instance, right? Now I'm looking at operations money and marketing because sales is also under marketing, operations, and all that stuff. Now I'm saying I have 17 naira left just to make this conversation easy. And then I'm looking, okay, development will take me what? Let's say 6 months. And do I really want to start deploying, or how much do I want to deploy out of my 17 naira that is left for operations
Left.
and sales and marketing, right? Do I really want to deploy at the onset? Now, how much do I want to deploy? Now, what I'll be thinking is to deploy maybe 5 to 10 naira in the early months leading after development, right? Now, that would be for maybe things like hosting and server and all that stuff. Then I'm saying, okay, after those first two, what am I trying to achieve in those first 2 months? Now, that is the best time you want to plug in all your freebies, right? So usually it will be 3 months. Most for me, I usually go 6 months. I've even done, in fact, our Spotter now, even our ongoing campaign has some elements of 1 year, right? So I'm looking at, okay,
Wow.
3 to 6 months for users to test your product out. So you have some operations money for server hosting and all that stuff, right? Then you're also looking, okay, which of your users, and this is me just thinking out of the box, so let's just follow me. Which of your users are most important to you? And I'll be using Spotter. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, if I target the FMCG guys, right, they will come to me with their retailers. I mean, you've heard about Spotter. If I had the time to explain Spotter
Yeah.
to this guy, right? So hold on a second, please.
Awesome. Okay, so before Gerald comes back, do we have any questions that we want Gerald to answer? Please drop them in the chat. Please drop them in the chat so that we can always attend to it. And if you're getting value from this, probably just, let's signify with you a reaction or just drop a comment in the chat.
All right.
I hope we're getting value. Awesome. Hi, Gerald.
Okay.
Are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry. So I'm looking at, so for
Awesome.
Spotter, for instance, we're looking at targeting the FMCGs because one FMCG is coming to us with their retailers, right? So I'm saying, okay, instead, and these retailers are, the SMEs that we're also looking to target further down the line, or let's say even they're the ones who are built, that the like one FMCG has like what 20,000, 25,000 of the SMEs that would still target, right? So I'm saying, okay, I want to get to these guys first, right? Now, it will take them a couple of months to onboard all their resellers. So what I'm doing, I'm deploying capital to my salespeople. FMCG is fast-moving consumer goods. Salako, fast-moving consumer goods. So they are manufacturers of products that are widespread. So think about your milk, Milo, water, any product that is widespread, right?
Yeah.
FMCG, cool. So I'm now looking at it and I'm deploying my capital, to out of my how much is left now, 16 naira, to my sales agents who are going to get those FMCGs, right? And even at that, I'm also saying, okay, how are we going to get these FMCGs, right? There will not be strategies broke. And I'm actually telling you my legit strategy, so you guys, right? So I will cut it at some point, right? So because this will be posted online in case someone
No.
gets their hand on
Don't
my code.
gatekeep. Don't gatekeep.
Anyway, so I'm now saying, okay, even at that, what is my strategy? Are we going to target on LinkedIn? Are we going to host like an experiential event? Are we going to go to some events and all that stuff, right? And before you look at it, I've spread my capital over time so that I am not pressed for revenue. I'm giving people enough time to experience the product before I am ready for the and like I said, most of these guys, they're the ones who would even pay us the big bucks, but we know that it would take them time to sign up. We know that it would take us time to get money from their hands, but they would also help us to get the final consumer or the mass market users and all that stuff. So you see that I've spread my capital in a way that I'm not pressed for revenue. And then when I'm making my pitch, I'm talking about the value that my product will bring to the business or the consumer, or the clients rather, not consumer, right? While I'm making that pitch. Just to cut it here, if we run through your questions, I will need to revisit this. There's still a lot I have to say on it.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So I mean, it's so for this particular thing that you just mentioned, I think it's really for businesses that sort of have funding, right? So
No,
if we're
not
looking,
really. Not really. I'm talking about
okay,
bootstrapped, right?
okay, okay,
Every business owner should know how much they are spending, right? Or how much they
yeah,
have in hand,
yeah.
rather. How much they have in hand, rather. And then you are able to allocate that scarce resource to building and launching your product. So this is actually like a bootstrapped scenario. I don't even have funding yet. You get what I mean? And that's why
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
people look at Spotter and think that Spotter has funding, but it's just because of careful planning and execution.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I mean, I hope we're getting value from this. Okay, so now let's move into content and creatives, especially for campaigns, right? So I've seen one of the major things that I've seen businesses do is that they use let me use the word boring and repetitive copies for their campaigns because they think, yeah, we're talking to businesses, right? But I mean, we've been able to break that misconception that, I mean, the people you're actually speaking to, the people you are targeting your campaigns are actually humans too, right? So where is the place of creativity in B2B campaigns?
I mean, there are options. There are so many ways that businesses can actually target um what do you call it, their clients with creativity, and I'm talking about their business clients, right? With
Mm-hmm.
creativity. And thank God for social media, right? Before social media it was harder, and even then these campaigns were not as boring. We saw businesses that were targeting other businesses come up with very very interesting ads, right, on billboards and all that, and all those places. But there is the option for visuals. A lot of businesses are beginning to, a lot of consumers are becoming more sophisticated. And remember, H to H. So the businesses who are targeting now are human, right? So whoever you're pitching your business to in the other company is a human, it's not the business. This person is becoming more sophisticated, so they are moving away from what they call it. They're moving away from just back in the day, text was enough. Nowadays, text is not enough. I mean, not even nowadays. Immediately after text was what they call flyers, right?
Yeah.
Flyers were enough, right? But now we see that if you are not, you are having a video content, you are. It looks like you are not ready to target to get a client, right? So video content, very engaging. And this is, I mean, we've seen this happen everywhere. That is why Instagram quickly went stories, following the success of Snapchat and their stories, right? And then from there we saw that YouTube also went shorts, right? Because obviously people's time are precious to them. So YouTube went short, and from, I think, I can't remember which one went first. I don't know if it was, I think TikTok and YouTube, YouTube Shorts, happen around the same time. And YouTube Shorts really is to target the busy professional, who brands are also trying to target. And we've seen actually that many of those shorts actually have worked for B2B marketers, right? As a way to initially get their leads or prospects interested in what they're saying, and then the long form content, to further explain, right? Long form content, mainly explainer videos. We've also seen that a lot of brands are beginning to embrace even all these platforms. Back in the day, even for me myself, right, when TikTok just launched, I told my social media team, I said, I don't think I want to be on this platform, and that was very early back in the day, but seeing that businesses started to succeed and have good runs with, on TikTok, I
Mm-hmm.
said,
Yeah.
guys, you need to go and sell. So yeah, so interactive, engaging rather, video content, interactive video. You do Google ads, right? Some of those ads, you
Yes.
would see that some of those ads you can click to continue. So, when you're playing a game, for instance, you see that some of those things they'll tell you to swipe, drag something from one end to the other. Those are the kinds of things
Mm-hmm.
that businesses are beginning to leverage to get the attention of their audience. And
Yeah.
while marketing copy might differ, um, and that is why, in fact, they all differ, right? That is where we will begin to see the success of campaigns, right? Because how you talk to people and what you tell them, goes a long way to get them to convert. But it does not mean that these brands, because I pitch, and the reason why I'm saying is I pitch someone, using Click It, right? Who was trying to run a Google ad, to say, hey, we think you executing an interactive Google ad would work for you. And the guy
Yeah.
didn't get it, right. Yeah, and he thought it was the thing for play. And I'm like, no, many of the guys you're trying to talk to, especially from data, they would see this ad and they would engage. It's just your copy that makes the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So I want us to quickly watch. I mean, we're going to have time for question and answers, which would be in the next few minutes. So please drop your questions and answer. Sorry, please drop your questions in the chat box. So I want us to quickly watch this what's it called now? This video ad from MoneyPoint. So MoneyPoint launched a campaign sometime ago, and they were doing same Joe, different me or something like that. I think that's the copy. But just watch it, and I'm going to explain afterwards. Please confirm that you can hear the sound. Can anybody hear the sound of the video?
I keep joining him. I think I'm desperate. It's just even fine.
Can anybody hear the sound of the audio?
Yes, I
Yes,
heard.
yes.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to start again. Please watch. It's just 1 minute.
I came to him. I think I'm desperate. She's just even fine. What if he doesn't like me? He's here. I'm a spec. Joe. Same Joe.
Same Joe, mine not different. Same Joe, I know differences. Don't even think about judging Joe because you're probably just like him. Why is the name on your business bank account Ahmed Aminu and not your business name? Same business, different name, right? Stop impersonating your business and get an account in your business name with MoneyPoint.
Whatever it takes to make sure you have a business account opened in your business name, we'll do it as your sure banker.
See trouble. It's not the same name.
Open a bank account in your business name with MoneyPoint.
So I hope we got that. I mean, this for me was really amazing, and it gave them the best of results. And the reason why I know is, I mean, just look at the creative. There's nobody that would see that creative and wouldn't want to listen or even watch it to the end, right? So I think the point we're trying to make here is in 2025. Sorry. Okay, so the video was playing again. So going forward in 2025, your creative has a very, very big role to play in actually either making your campaign successful or not, rather.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's not just about doing all of those boring video ads. Right now, everybody's attention span is, off the roof. Is very, very, very short. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that whatever you're pushing out, whatever messaging you're pushing out is something that would make people want to stop while they're scrolling, right? I mean, I see a lot of ads every single day. And probably one of the reasons why I don't pay for YouTube Premium is because I just love watching ads, right? I run an agency, and I mean, I just need to always watch ads to get myself inspired, right? So, and I see a lot of ads every single day. And you want to ask, what would actually make me want to spend the next 15 seconds watching your ad, right? So that when you're writing your script, when you're putting up your creative, just think about it. What would it take for somebody to take the next 15 seconds to actually watch your ad, right? If you can answer that, if your script or your creative or whatever can actually answer that, then it's good to go. So, I mean, I hope we've learned something around that. So we're going to quickly go straight into AI, right? So Gerald, do you think AI has any role to play in making B2B campaigns successful or B2B acquisition campaigns successful?
Yes, I mean, I mentioned it earlier that AI is helping marketers to dig deeper and to identify, some of these cultural contexts or specific organizational contexts that make marketing successful. So yes, it's a great tool in the hands of salespeople and marketers.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to give room to just 2 questions right now. Does anybody have any question before we go on? Just 2 questions. Please drop it in the chat box or just raise your hands, and you can unmute yourself to ask. Yeah, does anybody have any question? Just raise your hands. You can be about probably what you currently do for your campaigns, for your acquisition strategy, whatever it is. Just ask question before we actually go on. Okay, hi Folashade. Please do unmute your mic.
Hi, good evening. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you 100%.
Hi, okay, thank you so much, Gerald, for the question, for the insights you've given us so far. So when you were talking about being a startup business and like trying to, I don't know if I really got it well, but I think you're talking about if you are starting a business, you should have like your product should be free to a certain extent so people can test it out before you can now now enter the market properly. So a company actually just launched a product, CV Box. Basically, it's just like a website where we tailor your CV to fit the job description that you're going for, because we have a lot of our CVs are like just all over the place where it just has all the work experience we have. So just tailor it to that particular job description that you want. And it's a startup business, so and we are paying a lot to run that site. So it's something that we cannot, I don't want to use the word we cannot, but making it free is going to be a detriment to us. So there's a price tag to it, and we've been running ads. We went to an event to publicize it, and we've not really had conversions. We've not had sales. So when you now mention the fact that we should first make it free, can you just give me like insights on what we can do just to make sales and how we can better present the product? Thank you.
All right, very good one for Lashadi, and thanks. A very good question. So, sales and marketing, right? They are very dynamic topics, and most times, while there are general recommendations, right, there are specific recommendations. I remember when I was alluding to the fact, what you pointed out, hinted at. I mentioned that it is good practice to especially when you are new, people do not know you. That's the business, right? So what businesses have done in the past is to allow people to experience the product. Back in the day, I don't know if I see it often. Maybe I'm not seeing it as much or taking notes. But back in the day, everyone would have noticed that restaurants, they have a tasting day where, especially on the day of lunch, where people would taste their food and then as a way to get customers, but also as a way to experience their brand. And we've seen this happen with a lot of tech products as well, right? Where they have slots, let's say 10, 100, depending on their broader marketing campaign or their sales campaign, right? So as a general rule of thumb, it is good practice to allow one or two persons to experience your products, and they would be the natural advocates if your product is actually good, right? Remember that businesses also need testimonials, to get orders. So something like saying, Alero has used our product and she has found or gained success in XYZ areas. That is also one of the reasons why businesses will give for free, because trying to get the first users can be challenging. Now, another reason why your business might be experiencing a lot of significant challenge with conversion, and I'm not even trying to talk about the marketing copyright. We could have another session. You could connect on LinkedIn. We could discuss for free. But another reason why your product might be facing some challenge in today's world is because of competing products, right? Or competing brands. Now, I want to quickly hint at two of them separately. Now, for competing products, in today's world where I have ChatGPT and where I can get a lot of sophisticated prompts online for free, I would be slow to go pay for a platform that helps me to optimize my CV, especially when I cannot see other value, right? Extended benefits of value, right? So if, for instance, there is something you would tie at the back, which I think, and I know that you guys have, right? But I'm just saying, if I see like a journey, so it's not just the CV, for instance, then I might be more inclined to sign up. So competing brands that are free can be a very significant challenge, and the way to really fix it is to layer on value and value and value, right? And we did that for Spotter because we built a good product, but it got to the point where it was a challenge trying to get SMEs, right? And that is why we started to say, okay, you know what, maybe we should target FMCGs first, which is also another different challenge, and I can also explain. But just keep it simple and light for now. We can extend later. Excuse me. So that is for the product side of things. Now, for the brand side of things, that is back to what I said earlier. You may also be competing against brands that, you know, like I said, also have testimonials, right? You know, so you I would most likely pay for pay my money to a brand that is saying that Alero has successfully done this with our brand, you know, and co. And then maybe because also they also have those testimonials and they've been there over time, maybe they've even scaled some of the challenges you're having. They now even know to layer on extra benefits, right, or products. So now I'm looking at them and I'm saying, oh, it's not just that they have testimonials for the CV side of things, they also have the extras, right, that will make me put my money in. So I don't know if I have all the details, but this is a good way to begin to look at it. But like I said, for Spotter, what we did was to, you know, one, layer on products, and two, decide to say, okay, who are we targeting first, right? And how can we get it out? Then lastly, you might also, your brand or your business may also want to begin to think about its marketing or sales approach, right? There was a day I was trying to get a very big contract, and the person asked to see my social media, and I said, social media for an agency, what are you expecting to see, right? And they didn't quite get it. And the point I'm making is, yes, social media for certain businesses can really just be so that when you go there, you see stuff. But this client, I knew he wanted to see likes and maybe comments, and I'm wondering, I'm like, no, the people I'm targeting will not leave a like. They've gotten the information, they'll probably send DM. So you also want to be what do you call it, careful about your strategy, right? Do you want to spend more on, so your marketing channels, do you want to spend on social media ads as opposed to Google ads, which would be better suited for B2B campaigns, for instance, or maybe even a YouTube ad, or, you know, all these other different, I'm sure Kayode will tell you about those options for B2B, right? You also want to be thinking in line of, so I'll tell you what, Spotter is organizing a burger fest this December. Kayode, this is not an advert, right? So I just want to give them an idea. Now, that is food and drinks. And anybody will be like, why is Spotter, a tech company, organizing a food? And it's not even because of our vendors, no. We are organizing an experiential event so that we can show and tell what our app can do, right? So businesses also want to start to think in that line. What experiential events are you organizing to show and tell what your products can do? And then what partnerships are you leveraging? So even if you're not organizing your own events, there are a lot of international schools that organize seminars where people can come here, which is also their own experiential events, right? So you come and meet their recruiters and maybe their sales representatives. That would be a good opportunity for your brand or business to also go pitch tents, you know, raise your banner and talk to those who are coming about, you know, how you can build your CV. So it's a long laundry list of things that you can do. But yeah, we can extend the conversation afterwards. I'll drop my LinkedIn. I see that people are asking for it. And then what is extended benefit or value? Okay, so benefits or value. I'm saying things like, okay, I'll give you an instance. I mentioned Smart Business Hub as a subsidiary of Spotter, right? Now, both of them help each other. The Smart Business Hub is meant to help the SMEs that will sell on Spotter, because our promise, for instance, is to the consumer. We're saying we want you to find good products, and we don't want you to find to interact or go and make payments with a business that would you end up in a situation of what I ordered versus what I delivered, right? So an extended benefit or value of being on Spotter is that there is that hub that gives you access to discounts to build a better business, gives you access to mentors that will tell you how to build a better business and all of that stuff. Now, some business owners also discover Spotter through the Smart Business Hub, right? And like I said, they both rub off on each other. So if you discover us through the Smart Business Hub, then we are telling you that there is a market that would actually, you know, give you a fast route to, there's a platform rather called Spotter that will give you a fast route to market. So those adjacent products or what do you call it, layer on products or services that extend, you know, that benefit to say, I'm not just coming for you to build my CV, right? Would make people more comfortable to say, I'm not just going to pay money for my CV. when is ChatGPT. But that thing that ChatGPT will not do for the person, that is what I'm saying that you should add on your product. Kayode.
Awesome. I mean, you have actually answered most of what I wanted to share, and I have like a list here already. So I'm just going to run through it again. So when Gerald mentioned, I mean, getting users to use your product for free. So we use an email marketing tool called Gomela. And in our first growth series, we had their CEO come talk to us about how to build, a business, a startup that is bootstrapped, right? And how to make it successful, how to make it profitable. We also had the CEO of Treford. And I mean, this same year, we had an event in August that pulled in over 100 people, 100 entrepreneurs and all. What I'm trying to say is they actually sponsored that event, right? And the conversation didn't just start today. They actually gave us about 2-3 months when we first got onboarded. They gave us 2-3 months to use our product for free. And we've been on that particular email marketing tool for the last 2 years. I mean, there are a lot of times when we send out campaigns, it messes up and all of those things, but we are still on that we're still using that tool till today. We're still using Gomela till today, right? So it goes a long way. It's not just about, yes, I mean, I think you're thinking short term. Think about it for a long term, because you're in business for long. You're not trying to get people to give you money now. Yes, you're trying to get people to give you money now, but you're also trying to get people to spend a lot more. And that's where the customer lifetime value actually comes to play. So yes, you can actually acquire customers, let them use your product for a very short time, just get the idea of what you can actually do for them, right? And then later on begin to charge. So that's one. Number two is, Gerald also mentioned that testimonials actually work. So we actually do something for Advantar, and so Advantar, I can actually categorize Advantar as a B2B because I mean they are a business and they deal with schools, right? So it's also a business. So they provide softwares to manage schools and all of those things. Now, there was a campaign that we're trying to do. We're trying to acquire, I think, was it 1,000 new customers, right? And we started generating leads and all of those things. In the first month, I think we're already like 40 days into the campaign. And I noticed that the cost for acquiring just one lead was actually really high. Then I switched the creative I was using to a testimonial. That testimonial was basically from one of the biggest head of schools in, let me say, Nigeria. And when people saw that video, they started signing up. To check out the demo, right? Why? And then I just figured that, okay, so I've been pushing out a lot of creatives, a lot of ads, a lot of designs and all of those things. And before people click and even book a demo, it's really costing me a lot. And then I used that testimonial and everywhere went crazy. I was like, okay, so I basically learned that testimonials is actually a very powerful way. And there's a way you can actually use testimonials that will be trash, and there's another way you can actually use it that would really make sense. What I did was actually retarget people who have actually learned about Advantar. They've probably gone to the website, but they did not book a demo, right? So I targeted them with saying, oh, you did not book a demo, but see the biggest school principal, head of school, she's actually using Advantar, right? And when they saw it, it was actually crazy. So that's another thing. Number three is value. So yes, aside from people actually coming to do XYZ on your product, what else can they do? So I'm actually building out this credit product for NYC members. And when I was speaking to, obviously, because I mean, before we build our product and all those things, we need to speak to users or prospective users to learn about, what they like and all of those things, their pain points, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that they mentioned was a lot of other people also give them credits or loans. So what are we doing differently, right? And then I thought about it, and then I said, okay, you know what? if you use this product for XYZ month, you then begin to unlock a lot more features like access to tech skills, tech skills training, right? And then right now we're working out a partnership with Treford to actually train NYC members, because I mean, I don't want to really go into it, but what we're trying to do is get young people to actually build wealth early on. And we're starting with credits, right? Giving them access to credit and all those things. And then we thought about it, okay, yes, when we give them access to credit, how can they actually pay back? And then we tie it to, if you use our product in 3 months, blah, 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 you get access to Treford 6 weeks product marketing course, product design course, product whatever course, right? When you get that, you also have a partnership where you can actually get, so immediately you're done with that, you can actually get internship and all of those things. So it's not just about you getting loans or you getting credits from us. It's actually about how can you build wealth, how can you start making money from your NYSC days. I hope you get that. Then another thing that you mentioned was that your ads, you're pushing out a lot of ads and all those things. I mean, I think that's, if you get to the end of this of this session, you would actually get one of the free gifts I'm actually going to give out. But it's actually important that the ads you are running is not just ads, and that's where people get it wrong. It's not just about clicking, it's about the strategy that goes behind it. It's not just about setting up the ads, it's actually about what is your strategy like, right? And here's how I think about ads. Before we run any ads at all at Advantar, we actually speak to people. Say you are selling power bank, and then we go speak to 20 people who have used power bank before, and we ask them 5 questions, right? From that 5 questions, what's your pain point? What do you want out of life? In the next 6 months, what are you trying to achieve? And just ask them 5 questions, right? From that 5 questions, we then create copies based on it. So if one person is saying, I want to be able to go on 15 days without charging, without body number power supply, example, and then we can create a copy based on that to say, hey, whatever, if you are struggling with XYZ and you need XYZ solution, click on this link to learn more, for instance. Right? What are the 5 questions? I mean, probably in our next session, I'm going to share this because I'm actually running. Because once I tell you the questions, I have to really explain it so I can get the idea. So we can just write copies based on, now we have 20 people, like 20 answers to those 5 questions. And then we can start picking each of those answers and creating multiple versions of copies for it, and then targeting different people, right? Just try only this. I mean, there's still other things that we do when it comes to like strategy and all, but just try this and watch how your ads would actually turn around. So yeah, I think I've been able to answer your questions for Lashade. So we're also running really, short on time. So I'm going to ask Gerald one more question, and then we can actually call it a day. So Gerald, for Spotter, what's the future for Spotter?
That's a broad question, but future for us is a world where no one has to die or suffer from consuming a fake product, or find themselves in a terrible place, or a boring place, or a place that they regret, right? And the whole time, in fact, just like some of the questions that we've been taking and responding to, right? We've spent a couple decent amount of time building Spotter, and just like you just mentioned, customer feedback is very important. And yeah, for Lashade, again, just to add, I don't think I mentioned this earlier. Sometimes when you give people your product for free, think of it as A to B testing phase, where you're actually trying to get feedback from the first people who didn't even pay you, so that you can optimize the product, if at all, spot areas for optimization rather. So that's what we've been doing the whole time, and we are very confident about launching the product. That's why we are taking a bold move with our bold experiential campaign, or event rather. And we know, so we've always said it from day one, right? We want people to wake up and think of Spotter just the way they wake up and think of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media they like. And that is what we've done and built the whole time. And we've given users the platform to use for free the whole time while we are building. Well, most likely beta set testing. And yeah, by this time next year, Spotter would be everywhere. I'll give you an idea of one of the things that will make Spotter everywhere. So you are looking for a barber shop, for instance, in a new city, or you're looking for even the product in your own city, but probably not just in the it's not available in the supermarket that you are used to, right? You can just tell Spotter, you wake up in the morning and you type, I need a, let's say, Fanta, and you minimize the app. So when I say minimize, you didn't close it, but you are doing other things on your phone. Or let's say you even just drop your phone and continue going about town. The moment you come within 1 kilometer radius of any place that sells Fanta, right? Spotter will save it to you, save it to your phone. If you are looking at the device, yeah, if you are looking at the device at the time, you would see it pop up in your face. So we know from building the whole time and getting users to try it out and tell us what they think, that by this time next year, I'm a growth marketer, so growth marketing is doing the most with the least resources, right?
Yeah.
So we're sure that even by this time next year, Spotter will be everywhere. But like I said, the future for us is really about helping people find it better, find it safe and convenient. Thank you.
Awesome. So I mean that's actually the name, Spotter. I'm just thinking about it. Spotter.
Oh yes, yeah, sports, anything,
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome. I mean, I think do you have plans to introduce probably ads in the future? Let me know. I want to try it out.
Most of I mean, depends on the ads. We have most of the features that would make Spotter what it is are actually ads, although very cheap because we want mass market. But if you are talking about external ads in Spotter, we are thinking about creative ways. Even for Spotter, we took away banners. There are no banners on Spotter. Yes, so we don't want those things to bug the users. But like I said, the question about ads can be broad. So let's touch base later and let me
Yeah. I
watch
mean,
out.
I want to be able to say I'm selling you said Fanta, right? I want to be able to target 25,000 people that would actually buy in my city.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, those things.
Aside from Facebook, Google, and others. I mean, it'd actually be great to see
that
a
is
Nigerian
our money. That is our money maker. That is why we are hosting our own events to show people like you that
awesome.
yes. Even this
Awesome.
feature I told you about is a broadcast, right? So you want people to go to a location and get Fanta, you broadcast it. They come within 1 kilometer radius, get that location. Exactly, it's part of it.
Awesome.
And a lot more like that. So I'm inviting you and
Awesome.
everybody on this in this space to come to the Burger Fest December 20th. Come and experience Spotter.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gerald. You have been absolutely amazing. So just let me give you a quick recap. So if you're looking to actually do crazy stuff next year, if you're looking to actually blow your B2B campaign, and even it might not be B2B, it might even be B2C. I mean, there are a couple of things that you can actually learn from what you have said, but most importantly, try out, leverage different channels, right? Your users or your customers, your prospective customers are not staying on one place. They are on Google, they are on YouTube, they are on LinkedIn, they're on different places. So don't stick to just saying, oh, let's do Facebook ads, for instance. Have multiple channels, right? Number two is you need to really, really take your social media serious, right? In fact, we actually like, for our agency, we had to scrap the marketing plan that we have and we created a new one. And social media is like number one on our lists, right? We're using it to do two things: build awareness and get people really interested and to learn about what Advantar does. Earlier on, social media wasn't really 100% based on referral, but we just figured that out, that if you really want to scale, if we really want to build trust, within the industry, we need to actually leverage social media. So social media is really where you get a lot of juice next year. I mean, platforms like TikTok are blowing, they're like giving you crazy visibility. So forget your B2B. At the core of B2B is H2H, like Gerald mentioned, because you're trying to speak to people. So leverage social media. Also think about account-based marketing, personalizing your your campaigns to just one person. Also, and this is like another thing is really important. Start thinking about how you can actually make your campaigns or your acquisition strategies or your campaign, actually, your acquisition campaign, bolder and more provocative. Nobody wants to see all those boring stuff that B2B does and B2B companies do. They want to see things that will actually make them think. They want to see humor in B2B. They want to see jokes, right? Because these people are human too. They want to be able to build trust with you, right? So make sure your campaigns are bold and provocative. And then also another thing is your creative is your biggest asset, right? If your creative actually makes your campaign either successful or not. So make sure that your creatives is actually solving a pain point. Your creatives is not boring. It's actually provocative. It builds emotions, and it just makes your brand memorable, right? So make sure that you go into 2025, think about your creative again and all of the things that we have discussed today, and make sure that you start implementing it, right? So thank you so much, Gerald. Any other question, from anybody? We have less than 6 minutes to go. If you want to connect with our speaker, please check the chat box. You're going to see his LinkedIn, the link to actually connect with him on LinkedIn. Please do that. So like I said, I'm going to be sharing 2 things at the end of this session. So let me just quickly share that. Okay, so can you confirm you can see my screen? Anybody?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Awesome. Okay, so like I said, I have just 2 special gifts, and the first is a buyer persona template. Now, for your acquisition strategy to work, you must know who exactly you want to be speaking with, and this template would actually give you a deep dive into who they are, what they do, what they like, what they hate, what they're trying to achieve, and a whole lot more. Right? So scan this right now and get access to it for free. It is free. We're not charging for it. And this is the template that we actually use for some of our high value clients. So if you want this, just scan it right now before we actually take it away. It goes off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Another gift I'm going to give to you today is a free 30 minutes consulting session, right? So what we're going to be doing in this session is we're going to look into what you currently do to acquire leads, your lead generation campaign. We'll look into it. You share probably you're acquiring leads by maybe Facebook ads, for instance. We're going to look deep into your Facebook ads, what you're currently doing, and then we'll tell you what exactly you should be doing to actually generate the best leads, right? So if you want that free session with us, 30 minutes, please just scan this code. It will take you straight to a WhatsApp page. Just send a message, and we're going to schedule a call with you. This is free, 30 minutes, not more, not less. If you want this, scan this immediately and get 30 minutes consulting session. Also, this will be going off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and going. Let me just take that one more time. If you want the first one, the template, the buyer persona template that would give you insight into who exactly your customers are. In fact, aside from just the audience, you can actually segment your audience, scan this code and get it for free. If you also want us to take a deep dive into what you currently do for lead generation, scan this code and you would actually get 30 minutes free consulting session with us, right? So, and that will be all all for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Growth series is hosted on the second Thursday, right? Every second Thursday. The next growth series would be on the 12th of Okay, so just like I was saying, she actually built one of the biggest sales agency in Nigeria. She's going to be joining us on the 12th of December, when I say November, of December, to actually teach us how to actually build a winning sales team. Right. So the idea is we want to be able to make sure that we go into 2025 with a proper acquisition strategy. That's for marketing, and then also sales, because marketing is not profitable if you don't have a strong sales team, right? So please join us by that time, and we're going to be speaking. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing day. Bye.